Global Shapers is a community of young leaders who drive dialogue, action, and change in different communities around the world.
An informed and empowered young generation that can hold governments and business accountable and shape their communities.
Meeting people that share the same vision for your community, the same vision for the world. The biggest tool we have to make change is dialogue.
The Global Shapers, to me, is the platform for action for change for the millennial generation across the world. We're currently facing trends and global crises that need to be addressed in the most collaborative spirit.
In Ahmedabad Hub, we are working on shaping education. So Global Shaper community totally gives that platform, that strength, that motivation, and that vision.
The cooperation among hubs could make a difference in shaping projects locally, but that have a national impact.
What we're doing is we're trying to engage our shaper communities from around the world to take action on climate.
We want more people based in China know the world better. So we host international events to let people have more free dialogue with each other.
I am from Kakuma refugee camp. It's about 185,000 refugees. And we have a Kakuma hub, which is the first hub ever in a refugee camp. I met the other shapers, and then I started to understand what this was all about.
You ask someone like, what are you working on? You discover that, wow, he's in Ecuador and working on something that's very similar to what you're working on in Cairo. And why not to collaborate and discover more potential?
So it's really great to hear the projects they're doing and thinking about how can we grow and replicate this in our own communities, in our own context.
It is through this inspiration that we get from one another that we're actually to drive an agenda forward in which change becomes possible.
And these thousands of global shapers from more than 400 cities around the world, when they come together, they speak and act on behalf of the 3.5 billion young people that represents half of the world's population.
Then together, you are so powerful and can really influence change.
I'm very optimistic that we can create a better future for the coming generations.
We're the Global Shapers.
Many of you know, the Global Shapers community was founded by Professor Klaus Schwab in 2011 to empower young people to self-organize for impact and to amplify their voice. And we have Abdullahi and Albina to tell us more about our community's 10-year journey since then.
The Global Shapers community was founded in 2011. At this time, young people were facing big challenges. We had outrage over rising inequality and insecurity which erupted in the Occupy Wall Street movement and movements in the Mediterranean and the Middle East, which would later become the Arab Spring. Young protesters around the world were frustrated by the inaction and had a right to be deeply concerned about the future. The way the chairman saw it, young people were the most important and most affected stakeholders, yet were the ones with the most innovative ideas and energy to build a better tomorrow.
Did you know that our community began as just 9 hubs? They were founded by members of our sister community, young global leaders in Amsterdam, Johannesburg, Istanbul, Lagos, London, New York, Riyadh, Tokyo, and Geneva. And in its first 12 months, the Global Shapers community quickly grew to 110 hubs. I'm particularly proud to say that all 9 of the first hubs are with us still today, 10 years later. Please say hi in the chat if you represent one of them. In 2012, we hosted the first ever annual curators meeting, where your peers, founding curators and curators ratified our community charter. And by the end of that same year, we reached 200 hubs and 2,000 shapers in more than 100 countries.
And in 2013, I actually joined the Global Shapers community as a member of the Perth Hub. We also reached 100 hub projects and began recruiting global partners to help strengthen our impact work. We launched globalshapers.org and our first ever community engagement platform. Looking ahead, in 2014, we opened our 355th hub in Erbil, Iraq, and celebrated hubs in all countries across Africa.
In 2015, just before I joined the team, 18 shapers supported the United Nations Secretary General with the creation of the Sustainable Development Goals. And we produced the first ever Global Shapers survey. We also continued to strengthen our projects through grant challenges, providing resources to scale local solutions. And that was the year when we hosted 9 Shape events that engaged over 500 shapers around the globe.
And continuing with our personal journeys, in 2016, I attended the annual curators meeting in Geneva. But it was also a big year for another member of the community, and that is Amira Yahyawi, who's now an alumni of the Tunis Hub. At the time, she was the first shaper to co-chair the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos, speaking truth to power and advocating for intergenerational action.
In 2017, we published over 100 articles on the forum's blog, The Agenda. They were all written by members of the Global Shapers community who took part in our essay competition. This is when we first launched the Global Shapers Onboarding Guide, which I hope you've all read by now. In 2017, the new Advisory Council started their mandate and 50 hubs won the Shaping My City's Future Challenge. Our partnership with the Climate Reality Project also started in 2017, and thanks to this great collaboration, we have trained by now over 1,000 shapers worldwide. But most importantly, our Abdullahi has also joined the team in 2017. Is it right, Abdullahi?
Exactly, Albina. I joined the team as Wadi and Shima did before me, becoming the third global shaper to become a member of HQ. In 2018, we also launched the We See Equal Challenge and Voice for the Planet, the latter of which engaged more than 500,000 people in making concrete commitments and taking urgent action to safeguard nature and protect the planet. In 2018, we also launched our 3 impact areas. This is climate and environment, equity and inclusion, and education and employment. And our community reached 10,000 members, with it coinciding with World Mental Health Day.
2019 was also a big year for us. 6 shapers co-chaired the annual meeting in Davos and delivered strong calls to action to participants. I will never forget a member of the Kakuma Hub, Mohammed Hassan Mohamud, who challenged the world to rethink the way it engages with generations of displaced people. In that same year, 500 hub projects were uploaded to Toplink, and we surpassed 400 hubs worldwide.
And in 2020, we hosted the first ever virtual Global Shapers Summit and annual curators meeting. We also launched the virtual curatorship curriculum and, of course, our community champions. And last but not least, this year we launched the Davos Lab, which has organized dialogues in over 100 countries, engaging more than 2 million people in co-creating a youth-driven recovery plan for the pandemic and other crises that have come to emerge. We've also launched our virtual Meet the Leader series that has featured the likes of Christine Lagarde, Jane Goodall, Fabiola Gianotti, and of course, Mark Carney today. We also surpassed over 450 hubs and will celebrate our 10th year anniversary this October.
As you know, the World Economic Forum is the international organization for public-private cooperation. It was established in 1971 as a non-for-profit foundation, and it is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. It is independent, impartial, and not tied to any special interests. It engages the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. And to do this, it carefully blends and balances the work of many kinds of organizations and actors who have the drive and influence to make positive change. In all its efforts, the Forum strives to improve the state of the world while upholding the highest standards of governance. Moral and intellectual integrity is at the heart of everything we do. As a rule, the Forum does not speak up as an institution issuing public statements when injustice occurs, when wars break out, or when authoritarian leaders come to power. Many of us in the organization's leadership have often wanted to take a stand, yet almost never have. You might ask yourself why. We play another role, the role of trusted bridge builder, not only between the public and private sector, but also between opposing political and social forces. And this is also true for Global Shapers Hubs. As a founding curator, I know this is hard for shapers to stand up against injustice often, but I want to make it clear that being impartial does not make us neutral or insensitive to suffering. Instead, it reminds us that in the end, it's only dialogue that will restore trust and heal divides. Our role is to bring people together to foster open conversation and collaboration, to create a safe space, even with people we disagree with. This is the only way to improve the state of the world from our vantage points. We work and support other organizations and individuals to speak up, but our work is often best done behind the scenes. I hope you keep this insight from Professor Schwab in mind, as it has helped the World Economic Forum for the last 50 years to create lasting change.
Thank you, Wadia, and thank you for joining the opening plenary of the annual curators meeting. Don't forget to join our community celebration starting in 30 minutes to meet as many of your peers as possible. See you soon and keep shaping.